Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is this one. It's my Posted For You box. And if you saw on Instagram recently, I shared a photograph where I had stamped and coloured everything, and then I was crossing my fingers that I got the measurements right to build my box. And I did, because this is the end result. And I'm going to show you how to put one together. It's going to be a little bit, probably going to be a little bit longer video than normal, so I'm going to chatter away. And yeah. You need to start with a piece of cardstock that's 8 1/4 by 5.5 inches, 21 by 14. If you are in North America and you work in 8.5 by 11, keep yours at 8.5. Okay, you want that little bit extra, or rather 8.5 this way, because it's going to form the seam down the side. But if you worked out the measurements, you can get 2 from a sheet of cardstock. Right, so a Posted For You bundle, absolutely beautiful. And I kind of took inspiration from the catalogue where they had hand stamped all over a piece of cardstock, and then that was the card front. So I thought, I like that idea. I'm going to run with that idea. So it's this flower here, because I want to do random stamping. And I've got my memento because I'm going to work with blends. Now, this is Thick Whisper White, and Thick Whisper White reacts differently with blends than how regular Whisper White does. So regular Whisper White, and I'm just turning my cardstock as I go. Regular Whisper White, when you do blends work with it, you've got a nice blend, I think is the word. I don't really know how to word it. That's probably the best way to describe it. The ink sort of spreads a bit more, whereas with this, it doesn't spread as much. So I'm just going to put that to one side for a second. And I'm going to clean up this, because I want this to fully dry before I start doing anything. And I can't possibly do that because it's distracting. So I've got my Stampin' Scrub here. While that's drying, Stampin' Scrub, I've got 4 of these. The theory is 1 on, 1 off, and 1 in the wash. If you're of my age, you know what that means. So the theory is that I've got 2 spare. At any one time, I've got 2 waiting to be washed, and I'm working on the 3rd, so I actually only have 1 spare. And quite often, there's a couple sitting in my bathtub drying, an empty bath. So this has got little markings. I don't know if you can see. There's a sunshine there. Sorry, there's raindrops there and sunshine here. And I've just spritzed with Stampin' Mist. This is a really old bottle. I don't know if this is what they look like anymore. But there we go. This was a gift. So yeah, little spritz. And you scrub, scrub, dry, dry. And it's as simple as that. And mine's permanently set up on one side. So let me just sort this back out again. Right, so I'm hoping this is going to be dry now. While I'm here, I'm going to put that away, because don't put it down, put it away. And what I've got are 3 sets of blends. Now on this one, I had Flirty Flamingo over here, Purple Posy, and Balmy Blue. I'm going slightly different, so I've got, I believe, Pool Party, So Saffron, should be So Saffron, let me just have a look, and Mint Macaron. So I've got slightly different colours. So let me zoom in, and I'm going to take this one here. And what I work with is I go dark in the middle. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to have green leaves. I probably shouldn't have done this colour. And then I go round a bit with the light. And then I come back in again with the dark in the middle. And then go out to the edges with the light. And it's no more scientific than that. And I think you could probably see it. You can look, there you go, you can see it in there. So it's dark in the centre, pale on the outside. And yeah, and I've just thought I'm going to have green leaves. Oh well, not to worry. So I want to go reasonably random. So if I put that, I think you can see all of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm really just going to skip around and hope that I get some gaps. Blends, I feel, can be quite intimidating, and they don't need to be. I think if you're going to do something that doesn't have quite so much stamping, apologies, that would be my phone. So this has got lots of detail in the stamped images. If you've got a big open space, that's a little bit different. I haven't. I have got lots of lines on those flowers, and yeah, I just don't be intimidated by blends at all. I love them. I've given them away. I've given duos of them away as thank you gifts for people shopping with me. So I know most of those who've shopped with me have got at least one pair. One more. I think I'll probably need this one down here as well. Just checking it's still on camera. But honestly, don't be intimidated by them. Oh, look, I've just coloured the wrong bit in. Doesn't matter, it's all good. Okay. Now, oh no, I need another green down here. I reckon this one needs to be green, doesn't it? Or mint macaron, I should say. And then what I'm going to do is show you my final bit and then move on to the next colour. And I've got stuff I want to share with you. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's about right. I might find I need to come in with another one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with the dark on all of them. I'm going to leave that one I did last to last. That's one final layer and a little bit in the centre. Bravo, so that's my mint macaron done. So I'm going to move on to So Saffron and repeat exactly the same process. So I've got dark on the left, light on the right. Oh, it rhymes. That was not intentional. Oh no, and there's a courier just turning up. I don't know if he's coming to me or not. I'm going to pause just 1 second because he's coming here. Okay, I'm back. It was the courier with cat food. Right, so I'm going to come in with the So Saffron now. And yeah, and I just wanted to chatter away a little bit about, you know, kind of being a demonstrator. And, you know, throughout the year, I have people saying, you know, what's it like to be a demonstrator? I think I might want to join you, but I don't want to actually demonstrate, or I do want to demonstrate and I want to do some videos. What's the best way to get started? And I would always say to anybody, regardless of where you think your journey may take you, it will evolve. And in my case, when I joined as a demonstrator, I'd planned to do lots of craft fairs. That had been what I was going to do, craft fairs, and I joined, and then I realised that my husband was going to be working the entire craft fair season, which was no good for me. And so I had to sort of make some changes quite quickly. And most of what I've learned to do, particularly in the case of YouTube, I've learned really just by trial and error. But obviously now with my team, I do teach them as much as I know and as much as I've learned. And many of my team have joined me saying, nope, I just want to have a discount on my craft supplies, which is absolutely fine. And so many of them have said, do you know what? It's really fun seeing all of you getting recognition and building a team and sharing, because I think that's reasonably unique to the craft community, is that we happily share. and they want a kind of a bit of that, which is fabulous. And so I would always say, if you're considering joining, whether it is to get a discount or to build a business or somewhere in between, do it. Get in touch with me. I will walk the journey with you. I always say to my team, you don't work for me, I work for you. I will share and teach you as much as I know, but actually I'm here to support you. You're not here to work for me or go out selling for me. And that's what's so wonderfully brilliant about direct sales, is that it's your journey, it's your story, and it's however you want to take your path or where you want it to go. And so yeah, when you want me, you can have me, and I will happily go through everything I could possibly know. So I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about that. And it's wonderful to see my team doing different things and seeing their story unfold, because as I said, everybody's journey is different. When I joined, we'd had to have a very frugal Christmas. Some of you may know I worked as a makeup artist for probably 10 or 12 years. Something like that. I only put down my brushes, that's the terminology. I only put down my brushes probably about 3 or 4 years ago. It's not that long ago. But yeah, we'd had a particularly frugal Christmas with not a lot of money around, and I'd made lots of handmade gifts. We had 24 teachers and teaching assistants between the children at that point in time, and even really with an inexpensive bottle of wine or box of chocolates, it was going to be well over £100 that we just did not have. And so I made gifts, and we had a few male teachers as well. We had a male headmaster at one of the schools, and one of my boys had his class teacher was a man as well. So I kind of thought, well, might enjoy a box of chocolates, but let's do something different. So I did post-it note pouches and post-it covers, and I can remember them all saying to me, my goodness, Sam, thank you so much. What a brilliantly different gift. And it was there that I kind of thought, yeah, let's do this. And as I said, I'd planned to work the craft fair season, and it just couldn't happen. And I took myself to YouTube, wanted to do something different. My children were all very young now. Oliver was just coming up to 2. He's 9 now. So yeah, 7 years I've been a demonstrator. And I just knew I wasn't going to be able to go out and do the traditional party plan. That wasn't going to be feasible, although I did do a few. I couldn't do it. And, sort of mixing that around makeup bookings. So YouTube meant that I could work around Oliver's naps. So he used to have his afternoon nap, and some of my very early videos, you might hear him singing across his baby monitor as he came to wake up. So that's when I would film, when he was snoozing. And I would do stuff before the children got home from school. And even now, so Oliver is the last one in primary school now. Jacob has just gone up to secondary school this September, and Jack and Luke are both still there. But even now, I mostly stop work for the day when they come home from school. And that's the wonderful thing about what I do, is I work when I want to work, or what's convenient for my family. Some of you know that Chris works shifts, and that means that I can't always, I'm not working every single day. So we have a day off together as a couple every single week, at least one. I'm filming on a day when he's on day shifts, so he's not going to come in and be noisy, I think is the word. What do I want now? Just Jade, I think. Just Jade is a great green. But I'm going to test one down here. Oh, look, I've got one that's not coloured in. So yeah, my job is It's so wonderfully flexible. I love it. I work as much or as little as I want. I'm a little bit addicted to it. I can't not work. I find myself working many hours, but I love it. I love it when I get to chat to all of you. Oh, I want the dark first. Wrong end. Yeah, I have the best I could, and yeah, that was kind of what I wanted to chat to you about today. Just really what it's like. I don't want to say being me, because that would be weird, but doing what I do. So my week changes. I kind of work across a monthly period, so I don't craft every day. I wish I did, but I don't. But I have a large team. I've got 450, 500 demonstrators in my team. Obviously not all direct to me. There's about 160 or so that are direct, you know, who I work with directly and personally. So that's a large team that I work with. I have lots of amazing people who shop with me. And so I spend time talking and chatting, and so those two things alone kind of mean that I don't get an opportunity to craft every day, but I do try and craft at least once a week. And as you know, you see lots of stuff. I have projects 364 days of the year. I don't have a project on Christmas Day, but every other day there's stuff on my blog, 3 days a week on YouTube. So I plan lots of what I do, and I set aside time that's uninterrupted, and I just craft. And yes, I do plan what I'm going to work with. And that's partly because my job is to sell product. That's how I make money. That's how I get an income. But also, I work really only with what I like. That doesn't sound right. I work with stuff that inspires me, and so I don't have every stamp set in the catalogue. I actually, to be fair, I do have every paper in the catalogue because I'm a paper junkie. Love the stuff. But no, I don't have every stamp set in the catalogue. So I buy what appeals to me and work with that predominantly. And writing blog posts and filming takes time. So I schedule all of that sort of stuff in. So, I've got another one missing here. Okay. So yeah, it's like, I wish I could say, here's a week in the life of Sam, but I can't, because it will be different one week. One week I will be crafting, another week I will be filming, another week I will be blogging. I make all my own thank you cards. I don't have anybody who assists me in my working life. I do have somebody who I bounce ideas off, business ideas, but no, I don't have anybody who is an assistant to me or anything like that. My boys sometimes help. So yeah, I will often have a pleasant few evenings when I'm making customer thank you cards, because I'm sort of making upwards of 200 each month. I usually do that as a job when Chris is on night duty. My office, where I'm placed, my office is along the corridor from my two younger sons. Their bedrooms are either side of my office here. And so when he's on night duty, I will come and sit in my office, and it saves me running up and downstairs saying, no darling, go back to bed for hours at a time, or backwards and forwards. And yeah, so I do that then, and that's kind of really what my working life is like. That was a very broad overview of what my working life is like, but I absolutely adore what I do. I couldn't imagine not doing this. I couldn't imagine demonstrating to my children what it's like to be a working mum, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. Right, so I'm not sure I should have gone with mint macaron, but it's going to be quite the different look to this one. So here's my cast. Oh, fingers crossed I score this properly. As I said in the beginning, 8 1/4 by 5.5 inches, 21 by 14, or if you are in North America and you work in 8.5 by 11, keep it as 8.5. And you can see it's come through a little bit. That's okay, we're not going to see that side. Oh, please get this right. Okay, on the long side, score it at 2, 4, 6 and 8 inches, which is 5, 10, 15 and 20. On the short side, score it at, you need to score it at 1/2 inch, and you need to score it at the 1/2 inch bit that you want up at the top. That's this one, and actually I'm going to have this as my upmost part. So 1/2 inch, 2 inches and 4 inches, which in metric is 1.5, 5 and 10. Bring it back so that this little thin score line is at the top, and you score down to the first horizontal line at 1 inch and 3 inches. No. What? Nearly 1 inch and 5 inches, and I need to change that now. 5, which is going to be 12.5. My notes. Oh, nearly. Right, so what I'm going to do now, and I think you probably see this one here. So I've got this little vertical score line here that's halfway through, and I'm going to go from there to there and there to there, where I've got a horizontal score line. Okay, from there to there, there to there. Okay, so this is seriously a long video. I'm just looking at it now and it's 14 minutes is what's showing on my camera, and I had to stop after a bit as well. I hope nobody fast forwarded it through it. I'm sure somebody probably did. That's okay. Right, so I'm burnishing everything. So remember I said at the beginning, if you work an 8.5 by 11 and you want to keep it at 8.5, that's because this is a really small bit here. Right, so let's get a pair of scissors. These ones will do. Take a tiny little bit at the top, where this thin score line is the top. Skinny rectangle at the bottom, get rid of that. And then cut straight up the remaining 3. So we've got a little off the top, we've got a bit missing down here, and these have all been separated. So tear and tape along there. The reason I'm using tear and tape is partly because I fancy it, because, you know, I'm on that kind of a day today, but you can see it's overlapped there. There's too much. So when I take off the backing, I will be able to fold it back in on itself. You can see by my fingers. When you fold it over, it's going to stick to itself, and then you get a perfect amount of glue there. So that's the back, because that's where my diagonal lines are. So I'm going to fold in 2 sides and the back. Some more tear and tape here. And that is the front, and you can see it doesn't meet up at the bottom. I'm okay with that. That's because I wanted to get 2 from this sheet of card, and I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. My diagonal lines, when you just push with your fingers, because I've pre-scored them, it's going to naturally fold. Perfect. Okay, I've got my crocodile here. I'm occasionally asked about this, and I happen to have been asked about it yesterday my time. Somebody asked me if it's something we sell. No, we don't. We used to before I came along. We used to sell it. We are memory keepers. They are crazy expensive. I mean, they are ridiculously expensive. I paid about £12 on eBay secondhand. So yeah, they're quite expensive, but yeah, it's called a crocodile, and this is an eyelet setter one. So there we go. We don't have any hole punches right now. Braided linen trim, and I'm going to do my best to find the front. When I made the other one, I managed to stick my sentiment on the back and didn't realise. Always useful. It's not popped all the way through though. I think I might need to order some more. What a shame. I love to place orders. For customer thank you gifts. That possibly is my most favourite kind of ordering, because I send out goodies every single month, and it's product goodies, so you know I always like to do that. But yeah, any excuse to make a little order for myself. So braided linen trim on there. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to stamp a greeting and pop it on the front. I put mine on the back, and then when I took it off, I managed to rip the cardstock. So I'm not giving this one away to anybody. It's going to look pretty in the pictures that way round. Okay, so happy birthday, which is this one. Down here at the bottom of my grid paper, I'm literally eyeballing. I'm not going to do that at all. I'm going to stick it on a block. I'm going to get a scrap of Whisper White, which happens to be that one, which is pretty good size. And I get my, no, I stamped with Memento before, didn't I? Oh, oops. And let's line this up better. And I'm going to hope, ugh, black ink everywhere. I'm going to have to stick that in the wrong place now and cut it off. Happy birthday, upside down. It wasn't a very straight cut. Take just a hair of a whisper off. Long scissors and you can do that kind of thing. Perfect. Then with a couple of dimensionals, oh, I can't get the backing off. There we go. Onto the front. And that is rather lovely. I think they're really sweet. I think I possibly prefer this one. It's nice to show you different colours and chat forever. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me. Hope to speak to you very soon. And if you're going to join as a demonstrator, let me know. Bye.